Go ahead, yeah. Since we had to leave quite quickly at the end of the meditation class on Tuesday, does anyone have any comments or questions or thoughts that you wanted to know about or were wondering about with respect to meditation after having actually done it? And I should have mentioned in there that there are dozens and dozens of other ways that people meditate. That just, in my experience of studying this for 25 years and trying them all that I can find, that's the easiest and most powerful one. There are other great ones. There are other really interesting ones. There are others that are really, really challenging. We do another one in the Mind Body Wellness class that is, it's so hard. People spend years and years trying to master it, but once you master it, it's an amazing thing that can happen to your mind. But nobody likes to really have to do meditation, but this kind of meditation that I like to show you, people like it so much that they just, oh yeah, I'll do that. And then they just keep doing it forever.
What about it?
What?
What about it? Like, what's so difficult?
Because you have to be, it's called mindfulness meditation, and you're focusing on, it's like you have your thoughts. Welcome, ladies.
Hello.
We'll wait until you're all unwrapped. So down into your chair. So here's how that meditation works, is you have your thoughts, and you realize those thoughts are not you. You're the one having the thoughts, and it's like you pull up a chair and watch your thoughts happen as they come and go. It's the most ultimate mindful experience of all time. You're watching your thoughts as they come and go in a very observational sort of way. You're just, oh, that's a thought that I'm having. Oh, I'm noticing I'm thinking that. Oh, that's an interesting thought. So you detach from those thoughts, and the result is pure bliss. I mean, it's pure quietness of mind, because those thoughts that are so busy kind of settle. And the more you just observe them, the more they settle. And then you realize you're the observer, not the thoughts. It's very, very peaceful. People spend years and years and years practicing that. It's very, very difficult, because you become part of the thoughts again, instead of staying as an observer of the thoughts.
My experience Tuesday was exactly like that, almost like I was in a movie theater by myself, watching things.
Good.
Happen in front of me.
Not uncommon. That happens with meditation, because you do naturally still your thoughts as you focus on the single thought. Mindfulness meditation says, instead of focusing on that single thought, you're watching that happen. So it's kind of, you can get to there from the same place, which is sound like what you did. Okay, any other questions or thoughts about meditation?
How do you go about finding that class? To register for it?
Which class?
Mind Body Wellness.
Yeah, and I teach it during the summer, the first 7 weeks of the summer. But I think I have room for a couple more people if you want to come see me.
I want to take it.
I'm contemplating teaching 2 sections. It's getting quite popular. I can't in the spring though. I'm already filled up. But if you have a real, like, this is the only time that you can ever take it, and you want to get into it, just come see me. And
what is it even under? How do you?
It's a health 2400. So like this is Health 1110, that's Health 2400. Just one of the health, we've got a whole bunch of health classes in our health promotion program. And I will talk about the health promotion program, and if you're interested in any of this stuff, on the Thursday when we take the quiz, because some of you might find yourself interested in doing this kind of stuff, or wellness coaching, or health promotion, or some of the other things we're doing in this building. And we'll spend some time that day talking about it. Okay? Any other questions about the meditation? So when I learned to meditate it was in 1988. The guy taught me how to meditate, and for a few months after that, I was working individually. We would sit down and he would say, he would actually one-on-one mentor me or help me to make sure that how I was doing it was going well, okay? And so I would keep coming, I think there was 3 times, it's been a long time, but there were 3 times when I went back to him, and on one of those occasions he said to me, this was in 1989, long time ago, at least for me, he said, if you want to improve, if you want to make your meditation even better, you should do yoga before. You should do yoga and then immediately go into meditation. And I thought, I don't know what that means to do yoga. I mean, I really didn't know what, in 1989 there was no videos on what yoga looked like. I mean, when you think of yoga, when you guys think of yoga, what comes to your mind?
Stretching.
Stretching. What else? Please don't say this, but they always do, sitting in the lotus position, and that's the image that you have of yoga, right? And it's getting far better now. We're much more aware now than we were even 3 years ago. It's amazing how yoga has become quite part of our everyday lives. We don't look at people like back then in 1989. There was nothing. There was books. Well, the first book I ever saw on yoga, really, I was living in California, and there was a guy who gave me this book. No, this was it was earlier than that. This was in the 70s. My brother had a book that was called Yoga, Youth, and Reincarnation. And I thought, I don't want anything to do with yoga. It just didn't. I looked at it and it was just philosophy. And when I went to California, and I lived there for a couple of years, and I met some people who were really into this yoga stuff, and they said, come, we'll teach you about it. And I said, okay, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll come. And so I went, and it was philosophy. I'm really comfortable with my own philosophy. I don't need to be indoctrinated in some other philosophy. It was interesting, but it didn't feel like me. It didn't feel like what I was really interested in. So I didn't pursue it at all. And the idea of yoga was still quite, I don't think I want to touch that. So, and then I remember on 2 different occasions, I remember very clearly, and David will probably tune into this. There were 2 basketball players, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Robert Parrish. Remember Robert Parrish? Who did he play for? Celtics, right? Jabbar played for Lakers, California. And both of them, tall guys, really, really tall guys, but they played into their 40s. Both of them played into their 40s, which is rare, right? If you're an NBA player and you're 35, you're pretty much on your last year or 2, right? That's pretty much a long time to be in the NBA. Well, they asked both of these players on different occasions. It was just happened to be, they weren't at the same time. They said, to what do you owe your longevity in the NBA? In other words, why do you think you played so long in the NBA? And my antenna went, I want to know this because I love basketball and I'm not very good, but I love playing it and I want to keep playing. And one of the things they said, both of them said they do yoga. I went, wait a second. They do philosophy? To do basketball? That didn't make any sense to me. And when I met this meditation, the guy who taught me meditation, he said, I asked him, well, where do you find information about yoga? He says, well, I know of one book. And it was actually, it's a book that's on your book list, the book list of the books we read. It was called Perfect Health by Deepak Chopra. And so I went and got the book, found it, and I started reading through it. And sure enough, there were some pictures of people who were, it was just drawings of people who were doing what looked like what I did before I was going to play basketball. You know, stretching. I thought, oh, that's yoga. Oh, I like that. I like stretching. And but there were some positions, and they had names. They had funny names, you know, like crow and rooster and pigeon and alligator or whatever. They all had different names. And I didn't really care about those, but I tried. He said, do this before you do yoga, before you meditate. And so I did. And I found that I could do it. I mean, I'm not the most flexible person, but I could do what it looked like on those pictures in the book. And so I did it, and then I meditated, and holy cow, felt even better. I didn't think that was possible, but I felt even better. So I thought, okay, there's something to this yoga stuff. And I didn't tell any of my friends. You know, I didn't let them know. They would kick me off the team for sure, because you don't do yoga around here. But I kept doing it on my own, and I found that every time I did, I felt better. As a matter of fact, there were times when I would do it. I remember on one occasion I was playing basketball at a church. I was living in Illinois, and I was playing basketball at a church, and it was like rap ball where two teams are playing, and a third team is waiting to come in, and whoever loses sits out, and we lost. And so during the next game, while we were sitting, I went into one of the classrooms in this church, and I stretched out for a while. I did this yoga stuff. And I came back, really, and I didn't do anything else. And it was like this rim was like this big around. And I had so much more energy, and I felt so much more, I felt like I was in the zone. You know, you hear about people, athletes especially, who they get in the zone. Michael Jordan talked about he would get in the zone, he felt like he could do anything. Well, I felt like I was there. And all I'd done was some stretching and breathing. This is great. And I remember while I was at Southern Illinois, there was a lady, we were teaching, I was helping a professor teach a class like this one. It was a stress management class. And there was this lady who came in, and I didn't know anything about how to teach her yoga or anything, but so we invited a lady to come in who was a local lady from Southern Illinois to come in and teach the class yoga. And she came in, and she was just bouncing off the walls. She was just filled with energy, and she was doing things, you know, she was putting her foot around her head and doing all these things, unbelievable flexibility. And we asked her after it was over, we said, how old are you? Because she looked like she was kind of old, but she was, you could tell that she was not showing her true age. So we said, how old are you? And she would not tell us. But my professor, the professor there, who I was doing the class with, he said, she's at least 80. And I said, wow, there's something about this that I want to know about more, because this is great stuff. And so I kept learning about it. I found some videos. This was the time when finally there were videos and VCRs and stuff. And so I found a video that was kind of a really beginner video. And I tried it on my own, and I really liked it. I really liked how I felt. It would kind of, I call it, the way I refer to yoga is it lubricates. It's like the lubrication for my joints and my body. I always feel like whenever I get hurt or anything, when I do some yoga, it seems to help a lot. Anyway, I tried this beginner yoga video, and I actually still have it. And then somebody, when we were living in West Virginia, somebody said, well, you know a lot of yoga, come teach this class. And I'd never thought of teaching yoga. I didn't even know there was that was something you do. But I went and I taught this class. It was mostly old ladies. It was primarily people who, the doctors, they had arthritis. A lot of them had arthritis. And the doctor says, we can't help you anymore, but go to this yoga class, because doctors, at least that one particular doctor, understood that yoga is good for arthritis. And most of us in here, that doesn't mean anything, arthritis, but as you get older, I know plenty of people whose hands are like this because arthritis is setting in. And so they would come to this class and they would find, they would find some really good results. But there was one lady who came in every single week, and it was fascinating. She never said anything in any of the classes. She'd come in, never said a word. She'd always be in the back. And she said, and one day after one of the classes, we ran into each other, and I said, so how do you like the class? I mean, you don't say too much during class. What do you think of it? And she said, well, I really like it, but most importantly, my experience is every time I come to class, I have a headache, and by the time I'm done, it's gone. I always leave without it. And I thought, this is good stuff. This is really good stuff. And so ever since that time, I've continued to teach a little here and there. I've not done any certifications or anything like that. And there's been several students who have come through our program who have. But you don't have to, and nowadays you see classes and you can sign up. I remember at Gold's Gym, or one of those gyms, they were charging $18 a class for yoga classes. And people were filling it up. I think it's a little bit expensive. But now we've gotten to the point where you can just look online and get what you need. And I'm going to show you some examples of the variety of different ways that people do yoga. Let's see. If there's been plenty of research on yoga. First of all, what does the word yoga mean? Do you know? What does yoga? The word yoga means what? Do you know? Connection. Yeah, it's the actual word yoga means union or to yoke, both of those. That's yoke. Of body and mind and spirit. And when you do this, there's a real focus. When you're doing yoga, you focus on what's going on physically, and as you focus on that, you connect with the body and mind really nicely, and which is relaxing in and of itself. There's been plenty of studies. Well, let me just give you this kind of huge background in a real short nutshell. If you went online and tried to find information on yoga now, it would be a circle about, let's say that here's everything there is to know about yoga. Okay? We actually have one of my students who's really interested in, he's a student here, he's doing a BIS, but he's worked a lot with me this semester. He's really interested in kind of the whole picture of yoga. And that's all really great and nice and good. I'm not in the least bit interested in most of that. There's one little section of yoga that interests me personally, and if you want to explore this other stuff, go for it. I don't care. It's great. It's very interesting. But I'm mostly interested in this one little piece of the pie called Hatha Yoga. Hatha meaning physical, primarily. That's the pie that, and that's the part that I really am interested in playing with you guys. If you want to explore this other stuff, philosophies and austerities and all these kinds of things, it's an interesting discovery. I don't want to spend time with that in here. My interest is in this physical part, and it primarily focuses on three things. It focuses on flexibility, balance, and strength. None of those have anything to do with philosophy. And when you do this, it can be deeply spiritual. But I don't do it for that intention. I do it for well-being, for health and wellness kind of focus. The other stuff's interesting, like I said, but in here, so those are the things that this branch of yoga focuses on, and we do them in the form of what we call poses. Okay? And I'll show you some examples, and we'll do some, but they call them poses. In other words, ways to put your body that 5,000 years ago when they learned this, they found that when people put their bodies in positions that were quite like different nature, things in nature like animals or plants or trees or whatever, there seemed to be, it seemed to be good for the health.
Does yoga have any relation to martial arts?
Yeah, I think if you go back a long ways, they probably came from the same kind of group. I can't connect those necessarily, but when we do yoga, and if you've done martial arts, you'll go, oh, well, I do that when I do my whatever. So yeah, there's a lot of similarities. They came from the East. It came from the same place martial arts primarily came from, was China, India, that area. So, and all of these poses have names. They have interesting, wild names, and they have Sanskrit names, they have English names, and I'll show you. But I just want to give you a quick overview. And in the chapter in your book, if you want to look into it, there's been tons of research that has looked at what yoga has been able to do for physiology, for psychology, for emotions. And I mean, there's a long list of things that we could explore, and I'll just let you the main thing that I think is interesting with yoga as it has to do with this class is it all by itself turns off the stress response. Like meditation, when you do yoga, just being in these positions, it is incredibly relaxing. So whatever symptom or problem you had that was a result of your stress can be taken care of through yoga, like the headache person, or like the arthritis, or like muscle pain, or whatever. It's one of the best things I know of for self-healing. Hands down, it's one of those best things. Now, let me just show you really quickly some examples. First of all, how many in here have never done any yoga? Raise your hand. Never done yoga, or has it even occurred to you to do yoga? You thought about it? Yeah, that would be fun. How many of you have done it like only once or twice? So the rest of you, how many have done it like quite regularly? I'd like to see, like, you used to do it quite a bit? Okay. So we've got a few who are yogis and yoginis. Let me just show you some examples. And I think the problem that most people have, or at least the misperception that most people have, is when you do yoga, you got to go to a class and spend an hour. And I don't know about you, I don't have that much time. And I've kind of worked out a little sequence of poses that I do that never last more than 20 minutes. And it's enough. It's really enough. But I want to kind of let you see some examples of what some people, if you were to buy a video or go to a yoga class, these are the kind of things that you would see in those classes, just to kind of get a variety. Let's see. This first one actually happens to be one of my favorite. This guy's name, if anyone ever asks me, you know, which of the many, many DVDs out there do you recommend, this is the one that I recommend above every other one that I know of anyway. And his name's Rodney Yee. Yee. And the reason why I like him is because he's very, it's a very fitness kind of focus for him, even though it's very, very quieting and settling. He does stuff that is just really challenging.
So then, but yoga isn't the equivalent to exercise, is it?
It is a type of exercise, at least as far as I'm concerned. It's like strength training is a type of exercise, like cardiovascular is a type of exercise. Yoga, for me, is a type of exercise, and that's kind of how I treat it. Is I don't treat it as a spiritual awakening means. It might be for some people. I get that from other places.
Teach you to move confidently and gracefully.
So this is just
selected yoga poses that will specifically create arm strength and good upper body posture. The spine, the muscles of the back, and the abdominal muscles will also be targeted.
This guy, not very clear picture. This guy is just ripped.
Exhale, standing forward. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, right foot back to a lunge. Left foot back to plank pose. Exhale to all fours. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog.
Now, one thing I want you to notice about this guy, many people who do yoga, if you go to a class, there's two ways to do these poses. There is static stretching, where you just find a pose and then you just hold it and let your body move through your maximum. So as you breathe, and we'll experience that in here, but you let yourself just kind of stay in that position. And then there's the more what this guy is doing, that is moving through the poses slowly and carefully. You'll notice there's no bouncing. He's just gently moving from position to position, from this pose that has a name into this pose that has a name. And he does this probably as much as anyone else. And both are great. Both ways work just fine.
Release to all fours. Swoop to upward dog. Downward dog. All fours. Push-up pose. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog.
So you get the idea of that one. Let me show you just a few others. Let's see. This one I really like. When I was living in Illinois, I found out a bit about this one called Yoga Zone, and they had a TV show that would come on every day, and it would be slightly different each one. But the instruction on this is really good.
Come kneeling, and we'll start with the breath. Clasp your hands behind your back. Exhale all the air of your body. Inhale, your arms rising out and up, palms up to touch, and exhale, bring your arms back down to your side. Come now to sit with your feet out in front of you, and we'll work on opening the hips. Bring your feet as close in as you can together, comfortable, and take your fingertips behind you. This is a hip opening pose, but first I want you to get your spine tall. Lift your...
So the reason why I like this so much is because he would be telling you everything to think about, how to put your body, how to, like, shoulders, back, how do you want, put your hands. So it's very instructional as they go. Some videos that you see and some, you just kind of have to watch and go, oh, what am I doing? Am I doing this right? Oh, yeah, no, okay. And so the instruction on this Yoga Zone was really nice. I don't know if you can still find this anywhere. But that's kind of another example. Let me show you just a few more. Let's see, let me get out of these. Okay.
We'll begin on all fours. Take your hands forward under your shoulders. Spread your chest wide, heart open. Take your knees hip distance apart. As you press on your hands, we're going to slowly extend our tailbone to the heels, bowing to the earth, peace of mind. And on an inhale, rock forward and spread the chest open again. From there, slowly keep the rotation of your pelvis and extend back into downward facing dog with the knees bent. Stay on the balls of your feet and lift your hips to the sky, keeping that extension, bend the knees.
Now there are about 2,000 different poses. What we're seeing here is and what we will do together are only a few of the many, and they all have variations depending upon your own level of flexibility, own level of strength and balance. But that's the cool thing about yoga is you can be the most unfit, unhealthy person in the world, and you can still do some of these things in some variation. And you can be like the Rodney Yee guy, who's one of the most fit guys I've ever seen, and do just amazing things with the same name of pose. Okay, let me find another
now,
one.
Bring our feet together, and on an inhale, extend your right leg back into the sky. As you exhale, bring your foot forward between your hands. If your foot gets stuck, just help your foot forward so that your knee is always over your heel. From here, we're going to inhale and lift through the center.
So, and the thing I like about most yoga now is most people who do these kind of things, at least, well, that's half true. A lot of the yoga you see online is just amateurs just trying to get online. But there are plenty of good, people who do nice instruction so that you don't hurt yourself. Because I have found there are some poses, you do them wrong, you can hurt yourself pretty badly. I've had problems with knees, for example, because I did some poses that my knees did not like. And some serious pain, I assume that means damage, takes place. So it's good to have somebody with some background, some training. Let's see. Sorry, I can't. Sorry, I can't get by the commercial.
Calm place where you won't be distracted or knees pointing outward.
So now this is an example of an instructional.
Step 1. Squat on your mat with your feet wide apart and your knees pointing outward. Step 2. Reach your arms in front of you. Step 3. Place your hands on the floor in front of you, directly below your shoulders, with your fingers spread out. Your knees should rest on...
When I first tried to do this crow pose, it took me a month to be able to do it. It was so hard. This is one of those strength ones that it took me a month to get the strength and the coordination to be able to do it. With that Rodney Yee guy, he had that on his video, and it's very difficult.
As close to your armpits as possible. Step 4. Rise up on your toes, shifting your weight forward onto your hands. Feel the weight distributed from the knees, into the arms, into the hands. This might be as far as you go with this pose at first. That's okay. It will still help you increase your upper body strength and hip flexibility. Step 5. Focus your eyes on a point in front of your body so that your head is lifted up slightly. Step 6. Shift your weight forward far enough so that your feet naturally lift up off the ground on their own without pushing off or jumping. Your fingertips will make subtle adjustments to keep you balanced. For a sense of security, put a pillow in front of you just in case forward.
I've done that more than once.
To avoid lawsuits.
Okay, this last one I want to show you. I want to get by some of these. Actually, this one's a good. Let's see. Start around 2 minutes.
I mean, you could potentially really
That's just a commercial, but let's see. This guy I really like. I don't know if he still does it, but he's on that Oprah's old network. Except they took the sound off this one, but this is. He does things with people that, I mean, his version is really, really good. But he's also like, he's got more hip music going, and he doesn't take it nearly as seriously. That's the thing that I like about a lot of these people now is yoga. People take yoga way too seriously. It should be a lot of fun. You do things that are challenging, but it should be a blast. Let me see if this is the one. Okay, last one I want to show. Has anyone in here? Has anyone ever done Bikram yoga? Have you tried Bikram? No. Okay, so this last one I want to show you, and I'll talk about it a little more when we get into it. But they have a Bikram place here in Ogden, over on 25th Street, and it's intentionally, the temperature's set intentionally about 105 degrees.
Are you talking about hot yoga?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I've done hot yoga.
You've done hot yoga, and the idea behind this, it's really, really hard. Let's see, let's go to this and then I'll explain it. I just kind of want to get you to see the varieties.
Through purposeful and deliberate poses and in a room heated in excess of 100 degrees, participants in Bikram yoga are known to reap the health benefits from their skin to their bones.
You're working on flexibility and strength.
So these guys with Bikram yoga, you do 26 poses every time. They're the same ones every time, and then you rest or pause between each one, and it's like a sequence. And really, I have never in my life been so flexible as when I did this. I don't know if that's your experience as well.
Well,
it's hard.
Oh, it's so hard, man. It's so hard. You can't not focus on the heat, and you just kind of have to embrace it. And
yeah.
And I mean, the flexibility is a big part of it. You become way more in the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like upon embracing that heat, it's either like go big or go home. Like,
yeah.
Like you can't just.
See, one of the reasons why they did this, they do this at 105 degrees, is the claim is that when people were first doing yoga at 5,000 years, how many thousand years ago, that's how it was. They would do it outside in the plus 100 degree temperatures, and they're trying to kind of mimic that, I guess.
Same time, and then a balance between those two. It's fantastic for the respiratory system, circulatory system, because of the interest in breath control.
Created and perfected by India's Bikram Chaudhry in the 1970s, Bikram yoga is now practiced in over 500 studios throughout the world, including right here in Southern California. The 26 poses, bookended by breathing exercises, all with unique names, can burn up to an average of 895 calories in a typical 90-minute class. Don't blink, here they are.
Pranayama breathing.
Half moon pose with hands and feet pose.
Awkward pose.
Eagle pose. Standing head to knee.
Standing bow pose.
Balancing stick. Standing separate legs, stretching. Triangle pose. Stretching. Triangle pose. Standing separate leg, head to knee. Tree pose.
Toe stand.
Dead body pose.
Wind removing pose.
Sit up. Cobra pose. Locust pose.
Full locust pose. Bow pose.
The fixed firm pose.
Half lotus pose.
Camel pose.
Rabbit pose. Head to knee with stretching.
Spine twist, and finally Kapalabhati breathing. This is a class. If you like it, you're going to be doing it the rest of your.
Okay.
You don't know that.
That is that's as strong and as challenging as I know of. Okay, so here's what I'd like to do. I'd like you to put everything away. Are there any questions first? So I'd like you to put everything away. You good? Okay. So what I want to show you is just some very common poses. In the time we have left today, we'll go through a few really common ones that you would see, ones that I really like. Doesn't by any stretch mean that these are the best or the only ones. Every single yoga class I've ever gone to, it is entirely different than every other yoga class I've ever gone to, which is entirely different than every other video I've ever seen. So there's no right way or best way. So what I'd like to do today is just play with a few easy poses. There's two or three really important rules that I absolutely want you to keep in mind. Whenever you do yoga, these are good things to keep in mind, especially this first one. And the first rule is do not hurt yourself. You got to take responsibility for your own self, and connected with that is rule number 2. Don't look around and see what somebody else is doing and try to do it the way she is doing it. It's always a she who is doing it amazingly well, and the rest of us go, man, I want to do it like her, and then you hurt yourself. Okay? So you listen to your body and let your body do what it will do today. And as you do it over time with regular practice of it, which for some of you that will be the case because you'll like it so much, you will increase in flexibility, you'll increase in strength, your balance will increase. So, but do not try to do it more than what somebody else, more than you can, so don't look around, okay? And then 3, don't take it very seriously. Just enjoy this, listen to what your body's letting you do, and get in touch with being comfortable in your own skin, and watching what it can do if you do this. And I'll explain what that means in a little bit. So first thing I like to do today is I always start out with a couple warm-up exercises or warm-up poses, and so let's do that by standing up. And this first one, it's the first one I always do, and it was recommended by 2 or 3 other people who said it's good to do this one of your first ones. So I'd like everyone to turn on your mat so that you can spread your legs wide. So you'll have to kind of stagger because you're going to bend forward, and I don't want you to bonk into somebody. So just kind of stagger on your mats with those around you. You guys will. Okay, so now, let's do this first one. I'd like you to put your feet so that they're wider than your shoulders. So a bit wider than your shoulders. And then make it so your feet are pointing forward, so not this way, not pointing out, but pointing straight forward. And this is just a version of standing forward bend, but I'd like you to put your hands on the outsides of your legs right here and keep them there as we do this. So I'd like you to inhale, and as you exhale, just bend forward, let your hands come down the outsides of your legs and go as far as you comfortably can, keeping your legs straight. Focus on keeping your legs straight. Move your legs wider, yeah. So just, and then don't bounce. Just let yourself hang, relax your neck. You may feel your back pop a little bit. You may feel some release in your shoulders, but just let your hands kind of rest on the outsides of your legs. As you're bending forward, keep your neck relaxed. Relax your neck. So make it so that when you can nod your head yes, and you can nod your head no. That means your neck is relaxed. Let it be relaxed. Okay? Now, wherever your hands are, just kind of plant them on your legs. So grab your leg or feet. If you're already at your feet, then wrap your hands around your feet. But I want you to keep your feet where they are and bring your rear end straight down. So you're trying to create a 90-degree angle with your knees. Take your knees out wider. So, yeah, and then relax your neck. Relax your neck. But you're trying to push your rear end down so your elbows should be inside your knees. Not on the outside of them, on the inside of them. Get your feet flat. Okay, so keep this for a second. Now what I want you to do, where you are right there, I want you to gently take your hands down just a little bit from where they are. Keep them there. And then slowly keep your hands there, straighten your legs. Relax your neck, straighten your legs. Keep breathing. Doesn't work today? Not feeling good? Okay. Keep breathing, but keep your hands there. Keep breathing. Let your breath happen. Just let yourself sink into this.
Is this supposed to be comfy?
It's a warm-up.
I think I'm using muscles I didn't know I had.
Yeah, we have not even begun. Okay. Now, what I want you to try, just for fun, I want you to put your hands on the floor underneath you, just right below your chin. If you need to, well, no, you can do this. Now, just kind of pivot out on your heels. Pivot out on your toes. Pivot out on your heels again. Pivot out on your toes again. And now, what I want you to do is relax your neck and look through your legs. This is a really nice inner thigh stretch from one ankle to the other. But you're trying to have your legs be straight. Your legs should be straight.
Your legs aren't straight.
Keep breathing. Keep breathing. Okay, now carefully walk forward on your hands and then bring your legs together. And then now just kind of pivot so you're all facing this way on your mats. We have just started and we're already... Okay, now raise your hand if this applies to you. How many in here have bad ankles? Bad ankles? One?
I have one too. I mean, I have one.
One bad one? Okay. So this hurts for you, right? Okay, be careful with this. This pose we're in is called staff pose. How many have bad knees? Okay, so this hurts for you guys, right? So here's what I suggest for you who have bad ankles and knees is do this from time to time, only come to here, and I say this from experience, come to here and then just every so often just kind of go down to where you can and then come back up. Okay? You're going to carefully increase that range of motion in that area where there's damage by gently, every so often, coming down. Just hold it until, but you don't want pain, and then come back up, okay? How many bad hips do we have in here? Did you play sports or something? What did you play, lacrosse?
No, I played volleyball. I had hip dysplasia when I was little.
Oh, you did? Dysplasia?
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know. They were like dislocated. They had to like, I was messed up.
Okay. All right. So there are things we can do that are great for hips. What's your You just have bad hips?
Oh, yeah. I have problems with like my SI joint.
Okay. So, with all of these, how many have shoulders problems? Any shoulder problems? Hand or wrist? Do we have any wrist problems? So with the wrist ones, be careful with some of the things we'll do. The downward dog kind of inverted poses. Be careful with those. Okay. The point that I wanted to make with these is when we do some of these and you feel like there's pain happening, don't force it. And be okay with gently moving yourself into some of these poses, because really there's some pretty impressive healing that can go on. Impressive. There's some good healing that can happen if you allow it to. We're jumping ahead. Way to go. Everyone watch Hannah. Nice job. Polite golf clap. Okay. Now, so this is called staff pose. Just kind of come to here. The next one I'd like to try is another kind of warming. Oh, backs. How many bad backs do we have? Any bad backs? You've raised your hand several times. Yeah.
Yeah, well, my race because I did like gymnastics and Muay Thai a lot.
Okay.
And then my back, I injured it 3 years ago in an accident.
Okay.
Yeah.
So be careful with those things. There's a couple poses that we do that are incredibly good for backs. This first one is one of those, especially if you just have muscle pain in your back. It's called child's pose. It's a very easy one as far as how we do this. So what I'd like you to do is just put your hands right next to your feet, so your palms are facing backward. So palms. She just really likes the crow.
Yeah, you can't do it.
Can't do it with knuckles?
No.
Okay, so put your hands right here, palms facing back, and then what you're going to do from here, you're going to inhale, and as you exhale, I want you to bring your forehead to the floor. Try to keep your seat on your heels, but if you can't do both, then go for the forehead to floor part. Okay, so inhale, and exhale, and just carefully bring your forehead to the floor. Try to keep your butt on your heels. As you do that, relax your shoulders. Just release your shoulders. But put your forehead on the floor. Let your shoulders relax. Breathe carefully. Doesn't work so good with jeans, does it? Heads up for next Tuesday, don't wear jeans. Okay, so just allow yourself to stay in this, and each time you exhale, let yourself relax just a little more. Relax your neck, relax your shoulders, relax your hands. Feel the lower back, your hip area just release. As you exhale, just feel it releasing. Okay, now slowly come back up. Inhale as you come up. Whenever we do yoga poses, most of the time when you expand, you inhale. When you contract, you exhale. So we would inhale, and then we're contracting this way. We're expanding this way. In other words, the joint areas are expanding. Okay, the next one I want to do, let's come to standing. And I want to show you some of those videos that we saw. They were doing variations of what's called the sun salute, or the sun salutation, or the salute to the sun. It always has the word salute and sun in it. And it's a series of poses, and the reason why I like this is if you only have a little bit of time, you only have 5 minutes, and you think, okay, I didn't get my yoga in today, but I should. This is the one to do, because you take into account with this all of your joints, every part of your body. There's some balancing, definitely flexibility, and you can do there's all kinds of variations Rodney Yee, most of his videos are nothing but this, with variations. So it's really, really great. So how this will look, I want you to come to the front of your mats, because you're going to travel backwards. Let's see. I wonder if I can do it kind of this way. Okay, so this is a series of poses that you will do one after the other, and you can do it quite quickly or very, very slowly. It doesn't matter. We'll try it the very, very slow way first. So just come to the front of your mat, and I'm just going to go at an angle here. But we start in what's called prayer pose. Kind of looks like somebody praying, I guess. Put your toes together, your big toes together. And just kind of get yourself so that your weight is evenly distributed on your feet. Bring your chest up so you're not slouched forward. Shoulders back a little bit. Okay, now from here we're going to inhale and bring your arms straight up and then push them backwards. You can do this with your hands like this, like this, like this, like this. It doesn't matter, but what does matter is I want you to have your arms straight. So your elbows are touching your ears, and then push your hands back. Okay, pop. Did you hear that? Now you're trying to make sure you're keeping your arms straight, but you're trying to move your hands back as far as you can while still being able to breathe. Okay? So push them back. You're kind of bending at the waist. So that's the second position. The third is standing forward bend, so just release your hands, bend forward at the waist, and you're going to try to go toward your toes. Okay? If you can touch them, if you can't, doesn't matter, but let yourself bend forward. Relax your neck and just let yourself bend at the waist, keeping your legs, without locking your knees, keeping your legs straight. Breathe. Keep breathing through your nose, in through your nose, out through your nose. Keep your neck relaxed. We'll stay here for a moment. Just allow yourself to hang. Relax your shoulders, relax your hands, relax your jaw. Okay, the next position, I want you to bend your knees and put your hands, you're beyond your fingertips at about 45 degrees angles from your feet. And then you're going to take your right leg straight back and then bring your hands so that they're level with your front foot. So you've got your right leg is straight. Your left leg, you've got a 90-degree angle right here. Okay, everyone see this? Your knee is not over your toes. But if you took your heel comes straight up to your knee. Okay? And then your back leg is straight, your fingertips are on the ground, and then look up. Try for 90 degrees with your front knee.
You have one of those EFX things.
I know.
They actually do.
No, they're wasted. Okay, so look up, breathe. Okay, so you're trying to be, your weight's not on your fingertips here. Your weight is on your front and back foot. You could do this if you want to. You could lift your hands off the ground if you wanted to. Okay. Next position, you're going to go, it's basically the top of a push-up. So take your front foot straight back, come down onto your fingers and hands. Now, make it so your fingers are spread out and your hands are pointing forward. And then it's called plank pose. So you're at the top of a push-up. Stay here. Some of you have interesting planks. Last plank, going for flat, but if you have to bend, Okay, now from here, you're going to slowly come down. Ideally, don't touch. Slowly come down. Slowly come down. And before you hit the ground, ideally, you do what's called upward dog. Release with your feet. Now, ideally, you should have just your tops of your feet and your hands on the floor, not your knees. Ideally. Let go with your feet. So you're, no. So you're on the tops. There you go. There you go. Now, try for getting your knees off the ground from here. Then look up. So you're pushing your hips down. You're pushing your hips forward. You're sweating like crazy. Shaking like a madman. Yeah, relax your shoulders. Need to do something about this? Okay, now grab the floor with your feet and we're going to go into downward dog. Now all that you do is shoot your butt straight up, straighten your arms and straighten your legs. If you can get your heels on the ground, you're pretty good, but it's hard to do. But you are pushing your heels toward the floor. So relax. Relax your neck. Relax your shoulders. Relax your face. Your arms and legs are straight. Push your head down through your arms. So you're moving your head towards your feet. Okay, now come back to the top of a push-up. Stay here. We don't like the top of a push-up. Okay, now you're going to come back. We're going back the way we came. This time take your right foot and it comes between your two hands, so your hands are right next to your feet. So again, 90 degrees right here. 90 degrees, your back leg is straight. Your weight is not on your fingertips, but your fingertips are just helping for balance. Okay? Look up, breathe.
Feel the force flow.
Okay, now from here, we're going to do back to standing forward bend. So toes, big toes together, bend forward. Relax your neck, legs straight. Just let your hands hang. Go to wherever you feel you can. Keep breathing. Now bend your knees and then slowly come up. Inhale, and we're going to again interlace your hands, or don't, but your arms are straight, and push your hands back. Get it so your biceps are touching your ears. That's arms straight. So not here, here, then push your hands back. Relax your neck. Breathe. Keep breathing. Then back to prayer pose. That's the sun salute. I've seen it done much quicker than that, much slower than that, and with a ton of variations on that. Okay, sit down for just a second, just 30 seconds. So, normally we would end with something deeply relaxing. We don't have time today, but at the end of next time we always end with something where you're just like almost floating for how relaxed you'll feel. But that's kind of a really a taste of what we'll be doing on next Tuesday. Okay, any questions? So if you'll help me roll up the mats, put them back there, and bring the tails back really quickly. Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you on Tuesday.